Do you want to travel the world? Is that your big why? Why you want to build transformational wealth through real estate? It's a common one, right? People want to have that freedom of time that comes from freedom of money, and they want to use that time to travel all over the world. Well, I like to travel. It's something I really enjoy. And so that's why I recently read and am here reviewing for you the book We Came, We Saw, We Left, A Family Gap Year by Charles Wheelan. It was a really interesting book about how this family of five, which I could relate to as I am a family, I have a family of five. It was about them taking 9 months off to travel the world. Literally, they started from their home in the Northeast, went to South America, eventually over to New Zealand, and then on to the Asia, continuing on through Europe, Africa. I mean, literally around the world and back to the Northeast. So I thought it was really interesting to see how does this family actually do it, and what lessons can they apply to me. And so that's why I am reviewing it here for you guys who may be like minded or interested in this. So, first off, I want to say they didn't have some huge transformational wealth that allowed them to do it. I will say renting out their primary residence was a big part of how they could financially afford it. So, real estate and wealth from that was a part of their analysis here. The second thing I would say is that they did their travel on a budget. And so that really affected a large part of how they did it. And so I think if you're somebody who's looking to travel, it's a great book to read to see how they did it on a budget, if that's something you would want to do, or if you would want to have more funds for your travel. I know as I read the book, and I am bougie enough to say I would not enjoy some of the ways that they traveled, and I would want to do it with a higher budget. I am self aware that would not be fun. So, for me to do something similar, I would want to have more funds and a higher budget. Uh, the other thing that was interesting from this book is just to see the realities of it, right? Because so often we're seeing the Instagram or the Facebook or the pretty parts of it. And what I loved, I mean, just to kind of illustrate, is that the author had a journal where one of the things he tracked was the family breakdowns, right? And there was like a rule of this many people in the family, this combination of children or adults had to be crying for it to count as a family meltdown, is what he called it, as a family meltdown. And that is something that I could relate to because traveling with children, with a family, regardless of their age, is a challenge. You know, if there's lots of people, there's lots of stress, there's not everybody's needs can be met at every time. And so I really appreciated how the author here was really honest and transparent with what it was like for his family to do this. So if you are at all interested in traveling with your family individually, you know, if that's your big why with real estate, I think that this book would be a great read. I personally listened to the audiobook. I think it would be better to read the real book. The audiobook version that I had, I didn't love the speaker on it. I just felt like the intonations and the way that it was read was a little like computerized or not there wasn't enough inflection and emotion in it. So I didn't love my audiobook the way it was read. I would say, you know, you might want to read the actual book. It wasn't crazy long. It was a pretty enjoyable read. And for me, who I'm usually reading a lot of like pretty intense personal development, growth books like that, it was a nice change of pace to just kind of read someone else's story and to see their humanity and their experiences and their adventures. So, anyway, if you are interested in traveling or want to read about a family that did, I would recommend reading We Came, We Saw, We Left by Charles Wheelan. And if you've read it, I would love to hear your comments on and your thoughts on it below. So, thank you guys so much for taking a couple minutes here. Adrienne Green here, always helping people build wealth through real estate to live the lives they want. Thank you and have a great day.